faction Wargames did receive a major update with the latest update. Now we can do the battles with custom ships, so now I can finally take most of my ships in actual combat. So basically the principle is the same as with the original faction Wargames, with the only difference here you can use your own ships. At the moment it is a 3 versus 3, and overall I have to admit I like the idea. It's fun and overall a totally new aspect to the game. Now there are some rules. As you can see, you can't use some of the modules that are listed here, and I can see why. I believe you can't use capital ships. I mean, I obviously can't use a Sino there, so my revelation is definitely not going to be used in this, unfortunately. But overall, it looks to be interesting. I really look forward for a expansion of this mode. Really hope that in the future they add more ships to be able to to fight. Would be fun to have a 10 versus 10 or 5 versus 5 or even a 15 versus 15. Well, with that being said, let's enter the first match. It seems like the first opening screen is the same. Alright, well, warping in. Why is this armor plate on the other page? That's kinda weird. It didn't remember my module layout from before. Oh, interesting map. What do we have here? We have a Dramiel, Ashmu and Phantasm. We have one Interceptor, Raven Striker and a Bhaalgorn. Okay, well, it seems like the Dramiel is not paying attention to the range. They are flying inside of my nose and neutralizer range, as well as web range. Okay, Dramiel has been pointed. I mean, it hasn't been pointed, it has been webbed. The capacitor on that frigate has to be depleted by now. I believe the Dramiel is using a dual propulsion fit, but looks like the dual propulsion is not helping that much. Okay, Dramiel has been destroyed. Now Ashmu seems to be burning away, and the Phantasm looks like it's maintaining a 50-kilometer range. Well, I'll be moving slowly towards the middle of the map, towards the beacon, because this new faction wargame mode has a field which shrinks. You definitely don't want to get caught outside of that field, because it has the bleed effect. The field can basically destroy your ship. Ashimo seems to be burning for the hills. They are not orbiting, but they are burning away. Or actually no, it looks like they are slowly approaching me, although I believe they are maintaining a 60-kilometer range. I have one tracking disruptor on my ship from the Phantasm. Although the Phantasm is not approaching, they are maintaining the range. Ashmu is now moving away. I'm actually moving towards the mission. I'm moving towards the beacon. Ashmu is now over 100 kilometers away. Phantasm still maintaining the same orbit. I'm 32 kilometers away from the central beacon. Phantasm is closing orbit, although still maintaining over 40-kilometer range. They are technically within the range of my Nosferatu and Neutralizer, but I will save that for a little bit later. I want to use them when they are within my web range. That way I can neutralize their capacitor and slow down their ship at the same time. Basically, when that happens, the Phantasm will be destroyed. Now the Phantasm is at 52 kilometers. Okay, Phantasm decided to go in. They have been webbed. Their capacitor probably empty by now. Based on the speed that they are moving at, I would say that the capacitor is definitely empty. The Ashmu is going down because it moved away from the field, and the field bleed effect did get the Ashmu. And now the Phantasm is also going down. Nice! That was a nice match. The first victory for today. The matchmaking is still kinda weird. It was basically battleships versus cruisers. And it was kinda a obvious victory from the start. Alright, let's hop into the next match. Well, one thing that is kinda annoying about this mode, I have to adjust my module layout basically every new match. For some reason they don't get saved beforehand, so I have to manually adjust the modules each time I enter the battle. What do we have here? Rupture, Rattlesnake, and a Tempest. Okay, let's slowly approach the beacon. The Rupture is the primary target. Now I notice that I should put the beam lasers on this ship if I use it for faction wargames, because you can basically open fire at long range. With beam lasers I should have around 70 kilometers range, I believe. 70 optimal or 50 kilometers optimal. With pulse lasers that's 30 kilometers optimal. So I have to slowly approach these ships. Now the teammates are built for long range, as you can see, and they are melting down the enemy team. The Rupture is still the primary target, going down slowly. That Tempest appears to be fast. Now the Rattlesnake is the next primary target. Tempest is using large artillery. They are sniping. The Rattlesnake is a mid-range ship, so it would look like they don't have enough range with large drones. If they had sentry drones, they might have enough range, but it looks like they are using normal large drones. Or maybe if I use pulse lasers, I should definitely use my active armor repair build. This build is for smashing camps with 3 armor plates, basically over 600,000 hit points with this build. I can say that this Bhaalgorn is pretty tanky with armor plates. A lot more tanky than with armor repairers, that's for sure, but I like my armor repairers because I can use a micro warp drive. Well, that was a very funny and very easy victory.
Docking request accepted.
Unfortunately did not manage to shoot a lot because, well, I was very slow and obviously out of range. Well, let's jump in the Nightmare. The Super Chonk. Let's see how this thing will perform. Now, With one of the recent patches, they made the Nightmare very usable and very useful in Wargames. Basically, you can use them to shield your entire team from the enemy fire. And again, looks like I have to manually adjust all of my modules here, because for some reason the game just doesn't save them. Okay, what do we have here? Bhaalgorn, Macarial and a Caracal. Okay, shield field bubble up, and now let's slowly approach the enemy team. This Nightmare has beam lasers, so I'm not going to be useless at long range. This Nightmare also has 4 shield extenders. It's pretty tanky. And the shield on the Bhaalgorn has been emptied pretty fast. And the Bhaalgorn looks to be a armor tank, active armor tank. I am their primary target, that's to be expected. Even if they're not shooting at me, I'm going to be taking damage. That's what the Nightmare is for. The Bhaalgorn is slowly going down. I'm on my second shield extender. Bhaalgorn is now in hole. And I got the kill. Interesting. Well, that's 1 ship down, 2 to go. The next primary target is going to be the Macarial, although my teammates are shooting at the... Well, they were shooting at the Caracal, but something happened to the Caracal. 53.28 optimal range. Okay, that's enough. On to the next shield extender. This Macarial has a very good looking nanocore. I actually like the color pattern that they have for this ship. It looks pretty good. Last hit of hull left, and that was nice and smooth. Alright.
Docking request accepted.
Go towards the next match in the Nightmare. This ship works very well so far. Works better than the Bhaalgorn, although I had wrong weapons on the Bhaalgorn. Should have used beam lasers. The fitting for Wargames is a little bit different from the fitting that I usually do in classic PvP or classic camps. Over here you don't need a disruptor, you can actually focus full on range. It works very well. Well then, let me quickly adjust my module layout again, because, well, the game doesn't save them. This is one of the things that need to be fixed, because doing this with every new match is kinda weird. Okay, let's enable the shield field bubble. And let's approach the central beacon. We have a Cinnabal, Dominic's and a RB. I believe the Cinnabal will be the primary target. Yep, looks like the Cinnabal will be the primary target. Well, that Cinnabal taking... Oh man. That cruiser was deleted. The RB covertops is also deleted. And that leaves us with the last target, the Dominic's. This was one very quick match. A very quick match. Dominic's launched drones. You know, I have to admit, this map looks pretty good. They did a good job at designing the field, the area. There's asteroids everywhere. Makes a good place for good screenshots, honestly. That was one of the easiest wins that I've ever had. That was fast. That was very fast.
Docking request accepted.
Alright, let's go towards the next one. I am still in my nightmare. Well, can I call the ship mine? That's the question. Can I call this my nightmare? I don't know. Hopefully. Okay, let's pop the modules in their place. Looks like I'll have to do this every new match for a while, until it's fixed. Okay, let's launch the shield field bubble and let's go towards the targets. What do we have? Rattlesnake and dual apocalypse strikers. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more serious than before. Apocalypse striker has very good DPS and overall very good alpha, so I can expect to take some serious damage from these ships. The first apocalypse striker going down very quickly. They are already in hull. That was fast. I believe the secondary target will be the second apocalypse striker. I am on my second shield extender. Now I am on my third shield extender. At this range, Nosferatus are kinda useless, although the capacitor on this ship is very stable. I don't have to worry about the capacitor, at least not at this moment. This apocalypse seems to be moving. They are definitely outside of the siege mode. Rattlesnake is also using shield extenders. Let's approach the central beacon. The apocalypse is now taking armor damage, a little bit far away from my lasers, so I might swap targets to the rattlesnake once I am in range. Slowly approaching the central beacon. Looks like the rattlesnake is also doing the same. Have to be careful not to be too close. Don't want them within my shield field bubble, that would be uncomfortable. I'm going to swap target to the rattlesnake because there is no way that I'll be able to hit the other battleship. The rattlesnake is just within my optimal range as well, so if I'm shooting something, I'll be shooting the rattlesnake. When the zone starts shrinking, the apocalypse will start taking damage, so if they don't approach the central beacon, then they will be destroyed by the zone. They have a tracking disruptor on the Megatron Striker. I believe the rattlesnake is using... Yeah, I believe the rattlesnake is actually using a tracking disruptor. Rattlesnake slowly losing shield. It's very tanky. We have two of the tankiest ships in the game at the moment present on the field. The Nightmare and the Rattlesnakes. The Nightmare and the Rattlesnake are the two most tankiest battleships in the game. The Nightmare because it has the shield bubble and it has a lot of shield. The Rattlesnake because it has very good resistances to all damage types. But the Rattlesnake seems to be losing shield slowly. It doesn't appear to be as tanky as I have expected it to be. The Apocalypse is slowly moving towards the field. They are at 83 kilometers. The Rattlesnake is at 12 kilometers. The Rattlesnake is using 3 shield extenders, while I have 4 that are working incredibly well so far. I really like this build. Maybe I should use this build a lot more often on other ships. Maybe it's time that I develop something very interesting for the Bhaalgorn, or for something similar to the Bhaalgorn. Maybe the Macariel. Rattlesnake losing shields. Time to take range because the Rattlesnake is at the edge of my shield field bubble. Rattlesnake on the last extender did take some armor damage. Apocalypse is moving towards us very slowly. The Apocalypse is using a active armor repair build. That's interesting. Most of these ships are using full DPS builds because they have very good DPS. They have actually very scary DPS. Rattlesnake going down. Oh, they did manage to use one last shield extender there. In any case, they are left with just a little bit more hull left. Okay, Rattlesnake has been destroyed. The Apocalypse Striker is the final target in this match. And they are now within my optimal range. The Apocalypse is now into hull. In a couple moments the match will be over, and the match is over. That was very nice. Oh, that was a nice fight in the end. Well then, that would be it for today. I have to admit, I really enjoyed the new faction wargame mode, and I'm definitely looking forward for this mode to be expanded. It would be nice if we had different maps, different bonuses on different ships, for example. It also would be nice if we could have larger teams, let's say 5 versus 5, 7 versus 7, 10 versus 10, or 15 versus 15. All of that, I believe, are very good and overall interesting ideas. Well, with that being said, hope that you enjoyed. As always, stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.